in the visible world, and he calls the sunlight the queen. Now, if he's got the king and the queen in the world of sight, well, there's something lopsided. Here's a king and queen. He's only got a queen in the intelligible world. Because above the intelligible world, there is the good itself. And that is the king. So you have a king and queen in the upper world, king and queen in the visible world. The queen is the very source, the creative source of both light and sunlight. And the king, right, with the queen, is what is called the royal pair. Therefore, this joining of this royal couple, in some way, she has produced these, which stand, as it were, her children. That's the creative aspect. The whole visible world, therefore, is nothing other than the creativity implicit in this vision. It's not impotent. It's the source, therefore, of our own world and the sun and sunlight. Therefore, it's called the divine couple, the divine rulers, or the royal rulers. Now, that's a very interesting idea, but Plato doesn't do this. What he does is he hints at it. He gives you the pieces you need to put it together. And so I'd like to read you two different translations, and you will see by looking at it in this way that he requires you to put it together. You have to make the connections. What is that like? You then have to turn and consider the whole thing and see how it fits together, right? And then you have to use the mind to see whether you can then see the connections, because in seeing the connections, you are then creating links between these and using the mind in a very curious way. And the name he gives to that curious way of using the mind, it's a common word, but he uses it only for this kind of work, and he calls it understanding. He says this is really understanding. Not what we call understanding in the world of sight and the things of sight. Using the mind this way, that's understanding. So let me just read you this section, and we can have a little fun with it. And after he details what we might call the geography of the allegory of the cave in the upper world, by stating what's in it and how to make divisions within it, he says, that that there is a danger, you have to realize there's a danger in bringing this kind of vision into the everyday world. And I'd like to introduce you to that so I can make the transition to this. Now, he has the person now up in the upper world, just as we described it, and now he's coming back down into the cave. Then just consider, if such a one who's been living in the upper world should go down again and sit on his old seat, would he not get his eyes full of darkness coming in suddenly out of the sun? Oh, very much so. And if he should have to compete with those who have been always prisoners, by laying down the law about those shadows, while he was blinking before his eyes were settled down, and it would take a long time to get used to things, wouldn't everyone laugh at him and say that he had spoiled his eyesight by going up there, and it was not worthwhile so much as to try to go up, considering his condition? Would they not kill anyone who tried to release them and take them up, if they could somehow lay hands on him and kill him? Yeah, they would. Pause. Then we must apply this image, my dear Glaucon, to all that we've been saying. The world of our sight is like the habitation in prison. The firelight there to the sunlight here. The ascent and view of the upper world is the rising of the soul into the world of mind. Put it so, and you'll not be far from my own surmise, since that's what you want to hear, but God knows if it's really true. At least what appears to me is that in the world of the known, last of all, is the idea of the good. Oh, and with what toil to be seen. And seen, this, the idea of the good, must be inferred to be the cause of all right and beautiful things for all, which gives birth to light and the king of light in the world of sight. Right, gives birth to light and the king of light in the world of sight. And in the world of mind, herself, the queen, produces truth and reason. And she must be seen by one who is to act with reason publicly and privately. So the queen produces these two, gives birth to these two, and produces truth, and what our translation calls reason, but that's nous. That's that part of the mind which is capable of seeing the nature of ultimate reality. So, gives birth to this, calls this the king. Therefore, if the king is the sun, the queen will be sunlight. And therefore, as he talks about the idea of the good as a her, she, the queen, herself the queen.